I've always been a traveler. In fact, traveled to over 16 countries around the world. But none of these travels compare to my experiences traveling the astral plane. Experiences that I will be sharing with you. If you've always wanted to leave your body, but have had difficulty achieving it, I believe the following tips in this episode can help. So, let's get into it. But before we begin, I want to emphasize to you that I don't believe there is one specific technique that will help you to leave your body. Rather, I believe each of you will develop your own technique that will come from within yourselves. Deceptively simple word, isn't it? Just relax. But let's take a moment to look at our daily lives. Honestly, we worry about everything, don't we? Our jobs, our grades if we're in school, and just life in general. Then we shut our eyes to go to sleep and bring that worry with us. Relaxation can be difficult, but one of the techniques that you can use to help you to achieve it is to focus on to breathe in this 3D world is to live. And it is the thing we take for granted every single day. Focus on your breath and let go of all the stress and worry in your life. Just breathe. And when you do this, if you do this continuously, if you focus on your breath, you will begin to achieve some level of relaxation. What do I mean by intent? Well, think about it. Before you go to the store, or before you take out the trash, or before you go to Disneyland or wherever, you first have the intent to go. The thought forms in your brain, I want to do this, and then you go about doing it. Astral projection works in the same way. You form the intent in your mind, and instead of getting into a car or walking outside of your apartment or your house, your spirit actually does the work after that, after you form that intent, and that intent is strong. So, by the way, I want to make sure I emphasize this part with intent. That doesn't mean that you sit and you desperately think to yourself, I have to get out of my body. I gotta get out of here. I gotta do this. That will only block you from leaving your body. It'll be like a wall. It'll just sit there. When you're trying to force something, especially when it comes to this, the only thing that happens is you're basically stopped from doing it. Now, don't ask me exactly why this is, but I've found this in astral projection. If I really, really, really wanted to leave my body many times, it doesn't happen. It's only when I relax, I have the intent. It's there in the back of my mind, and I'm thinking about it like, okay, I want to do this. That would be nice, but it won't be the end of the world if I don't get to do it, if I don't achieve this on this night. I can always do it another night. I guess again, it goes back to relaxing and not trying to force it. This is not about trying to force something. I've seen different things on the internet about this thing about imagining something. I think I read once about this thing called the rope technique. I guess someone imagines themselves, or they imagine themselves, literally climbing out of their body using a rope, I guess. I'm not sure. In the 40 plus years that I've been leaving my body, I've never done that. My thought is this, and this kind of goes with the theme of this episode, which is I believe that the picture of what you're going to imagine, the thing that you're going to imagine, is going to come from inside of you. If imagining, climbing out of your body with a rope works for you, great, do that. But you can also imagine, I suppose, jumping into the air like Superman, and then that's how you achieve leaving your body. Or, there's a million different things you could imagine yourself doing. You could imagine yourself sitting up out of your body. I think the important thing here, and I think this is very, very important, is that you develop your own picture. This is the most important thing, because the ability to leave your body exists within you, within each of us. And each of us is unique. We're all unique beings. And so we're going to have different ways of achieving perhaps the same thing. Lastly, I'd like to talk about fear. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because it will have an impact on most of us, including myself, especially in the beginning. If you go back and you watch the episode on my first time, you'll see this displayed. My first time when I was basically terrified. But it isn't the only time I was afraid. And there have been times, even up to now, even after all this time of doing it, I've had fear. So it's something that we have to deal with. And I want to begin by saying that fear is not our enemy, right? Because fear is there to protect us from harm. Think about it for a second. If something happens, if someone attacks us, or there's something dangerous that's happening, a fire, or we hear gunshots or something like that, we're afraid, and so we flee. Or if we have to defend ourselves, we defend ourselves because we're afraid, to protect ourselves from harm. So fear is not our enemy. It becomes our enemy when that fear is misplaced, when it's in a place that it's not supposed to be. And in astral projection, you have nothing to be afraid of. And the reason why this is because I've talked about before about those around you or those around me, and every person listening to this has those protectors around them, so that when they leave their body, those protectors have always got their back. I guess some have referred to them as guardian angels. I like to refer to them as those around me, just to keep it simple. You can picture them like parents, right? So have you ever seen a parent with a toddler, and, you can see the parent, and the parent kind of, they kind of nervously let go, as the toddler is walking around, and they allow that toddler to explore. Because think about it, the toddler is in a new world, right? To this toddler, this is a whole brand new world, and they're just beginning to explore it. But as much as the parents obviously want their child to explore the world and to learn, they also want to protect them. And if the toddler begins to go towards, for example, a hot stove, or if you're outside and the toddler starts running towards the street, what does the parent do? The parent snatches that child up to protect them, to make sure that they don't harm themselves. Even when the toddler, him or herself, thinks, hey, I want to go do this. I want to go, running out into the street, or I want to go touch this hot stove. The parent knows better. Think of those around you as parents because they know better. They know how to protect you and they know what's dangerous. They will always be there to step in if something happens. So in the astral plane, you have absolutely nothing to fear. So, learning to leave your body. This was a tough episode for me. I honestly didn't think I would actually do it. And there was a reason for this. I don't know that I could teach people to do what I do. I'm just being honest with you. I've always been able to do it, I guess, or not always. I mean, since I was small, and it's always come naturally to me. I do believe that we all have it within ourselves. And so I truly hope that in this episode, I was able to maybe help you to go on a specific path so that you could find it on your own. Anyway, thank you so much for coming with me again on another journey. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe. And until next time, take care.